Reddit. What conspiracy theory do you fully believe is true? User Sympathetic Villain commented on a similar post years ago and I saved his comment because I thought it made a lot of sense. See below for the comment. American public education is purposely declining to promote consumerism and make a more subservient population. For example, public schools used to teach home economics, wood shop, or auto shop. By cutting the budget for these programs, you're going to end up with adults who don't know how to cook, so they spend all their money at restaurants, so they spend all their money on clothes, have an understanding of how tools work and make small repairs, so they spend all their money on handymen or repairmen, or take care of their cars, so they spend all their money at car dealerships or auto shops, also getting ripped off because they are completely dependent on what the mechanic says instead of having their own pool of knowledge to draw from. Then you get to homework. We are teaching children and young adults it's okay to work all day at school, then do additional work at home. With so many companies changing to a salaried position, it's perpetuating that it's expected to do some work at home and to not get paid for it. After all, you did it your whole life with homework, so why should the workforce be any different? That all of those souvenir shops on prominent shopping streets in London, England are money laundering fronts. You know, the ones with a massive floor space selling key rings and knock-off hoodies that say TikTok or something yet have no customers except young male staff sat about on their phones. How on earth would a not very busy shop survive in Europe's most expensive retail space other than that? Also factoring in a global pandemic and a massive reduction in international tourists, who they're presumably aimed at, yet they show no signs of shutting down. They also all appear to be owned by the same person and stock the same merchandise. TLDR, Oxford Street souvenir shops are all money laundering premises. Someone paid off someone, so there are no paprika flavor potato chips in Lithuania in all major supermarkets but one. 3 months ago you could find it anywhere and it was like the third or fourth most popular, I think. Is Lithuania worth visiting? Not if you like paprika flavored Pringles. When I was in high school, my friends and I came up with this conspiracy theory between us, that the theater kids are covering up for something because they act like a cult and talk about the theater teacher like he's their personal Jim Jones. 2 years after graduating I find out he's been arrested for sexually molesting his female students, and was only found out because he thought he could trust this freshman new theater kid, and started showing him all the naked pics he's taken with those girls. Kid turned around and reported him the next day. The other theater kids went on social media to defend their god anyway. Edit, wow, it's so shitty to see how common this is. In case you're wondering if it's your school, it's PHS in AZ with Mr. Werner Gerard as the pedo in question, and yes, he's in jail. CSI television shows purposely overplay the forensic capabilities of various law enforcement departments to help project an image of total competence. I actually had a class at uni where we just watched CSI and our lecturer would pause it every few minutes and ask us to find everything wrong in that scene, e.g. packing radioactive materials in plastic bags while wearing a hazmat suit, etc., getting data from equipment that doesn't even do what they say it does, etc. I went on a binge of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire at the start of lockdown. In the UK version, which is the original, they didn't claim it was random when the show started out. They just said it would remove 2 wrong answers. They publicly said that it was the least 2 likely answers decided by whoever. Inevitably that would probably fit what the contestant was saying. As the show went on they did eventually change to random selections, though I don't remember which season. The difference was palpable and it did seem at least more random. I watched like 8 seasons, I could definitely tell the difference. I have no idea what the US show did as I never watched this, but this isn't a conspiracy, it's just how the show worked, in the UK at least. I once saw in one of those YouTube compilation videos one of these posts where a comment said that they were convinced these posts come up every now and then for Big Brother to check on the popularity of conspiracy theories, and now, Seeing this here, I kinda have to agree. Government, what have these people uncovered now? Silencing the public has become increasingly difficult, what with their superior intellect and keen instincts. Reddit Will of Jeopardy tries to make the hot chicks win more. Here is a bizarre and specific one that I discovered recently. Many, if not most, portable induction cooktops have purposely blocked out the temperature range 80C 110C, 176F 230F. You're allowed to cook above and below that range, but not within it. I had my suspicions after trying to find one that allowed you to cook at 95C, just below boiling point, to avoid burning, but found that all of the ones I looked at with physical buttons skipped that temperature range. My suspicions were confirmed when I found that even the new advanced models with smartphone controls have specifically blocked out 80C 110C at the software level. Screenshot. Video proof. You can see that he attempts to set it at 100C, but the app changes it to 110C or 80C. Another video. Don't believe me? Seriously, go online and try to find portable induction cooktops that allows it. I've looked at Amazon, retail stores, AliExpress, for US, Asia, Australia, etc. You can often find people complaining about it in the reviews. Even the no-name Chinese brands have that range blocked out. If you can find one that works on 230V, I'll buy it. After sending emails to the companies, I get the same response, that temperature range is not possible, no, they won't tell me why, and it's not a temperature that people will usually need. WTF? Boiling point isn't a commonly used cooking temperature? That's obviously untrue. The top theories so far. It's to stop people making drugs. It's to stop people suing them for undercooking chicken or something stupid. That something weird will happen at 100C, the machine will destroy itself. All life as you know it will stop instantaneously and every molecule in your body will explode at the speed of light. That range causes vibrations in the metal that interfere with Wi-Fi signals and make it look like you're downloading furry porn. It's irritating that I spent my money on an expensive induction cooker and compatible pots and pans because Reddit recommended it, only to find out that I have to undercook or burn everything because of this conspiracy. Edit, this might be the answer. And a scientific study. Personally, I think this is the answer. Big companies use Reddit and other social media to normalize shady behavior. It seems every time news breaks about a company doing something shady, the top comments on Reddit are always along the lines of, "Well duh. We've known this for years." So instead of outrage, the news are met with apathy, and there's a feeling that you can't change the system anyway. I didn't believe in conspiracies until I started studying food. There is a constant and consistent effort by the major powers that be, and they are not necessarily aligned or unified in some mass evil plot to keep people in a state of dependence. Corporate AG and their associated lobby groups profit most by stifling competition and creating customers. That is to say, stop most people from growing their own food, and if they do, make sure they are buying that seed stock from you. Since it's cheaper and easier to mass produce fewer more durable products, you get monocultures. Like the busted medical system, when symptoms start to crop up from the lack of diversity, gradual loss of heirloom and heritage varieties, the sad state of nutrient density, or the negative health impacts of modified monoculture diets, soil depletion, etc., they basically got a new solution for that problem: more products. Big Pharma and, at least here in the US, most insurance-based medical practices get huge benefits here too, so they don't bother teaching nutrition in med schools as a required study. It's a messed up cycle of abuse, but only the hippies and homesteaders think it's an issue. 100% convinced the mafia was behind JFK's assassination. They had significant ties to Cuba, and after JFK's failed overthrow of Castro, the island remained shut down. The mafia had heavily invested in casinos there, among other things, to create a new Las Vegas. With the island shut down, it greatly affected the mafia's bottom line. Also, the story of Jack Ruby being involved is what really freaks me out. He was a loyal mafia member who had cancer, so in a sense nothing to lose, in tying up the loose end of Oswald. He says he was upset at JFK's assassination, but recently released documents uncovered he made comments about watching the fireworks on the day JFK was shot. He was also in close proximity to where the event happened.